It's my zero budget podcast, so that's my goal of this podcast. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Playstyle podcast. I have another amazing guest this time with me. After my last episode, I used that thing of bugging people on Twitter a little more, and I bugged another fairly popular person, I would say. I would say popular because I'm very sure that some of my friends would already know you, and they would be excited as well that I have finally got Vimo on my podcast. So I'll let him introduce himself for people who don't know. So hi and welcome.
Hi, Ishan. Thank you for having me. My name is Vijendra Mohanty. Vimo is my short name because Vijendra Mohanty becomes hard to pronounce for many people and I don't like watching it butchered. And I am someone who exists on social media. I have a Twitter account where I write long threads about contemporary Indian political issues. I do a podcast called Vimo Live on YouTube, and it's also available everywhere on Spotify and all the audio apps. Very recently, I started recording some gameplay and putting it up on a different channel called Vimo Plays. And that is where you heard about me and you decided to invite me onto this. And it's such a pleasure to not be on a podcast where I have to talk about politics because
Yes.
it does take its toll. Like,
Yeah,
it's nice to talk about gaming for once.
I can imagine that's what, because I know your writing and your podcast and also your Vimo Plays channel. So I understand it would be very frustrating to do all the politics and culture and those related
No, it's not.
descriptions.
So it's not frustrating to do the politics thing. It's very fulfilling. But what is frustrating is that there is no other aspect of your life left to explore once you get into that.
Yes,
So that is
I
one
can,
of the reasons
yeah.
I started the gaming channel, so that I have some breathing space in life.
Yeah, and that's where I saw, like, I'm like, oh, this guy is also interested in games, and I would love to have a conversation. So that's where I pinged you. And that's what we will do. We will not talk about anything else that you normally do. We
Thank
will
you.
talk
Thank you so
about
much.
we will talk about games. So before
Although
that,
with me, you never know. Sometimes things diverge in a strange direction.
it's
So we'll see where it goes.
yeah, it's amazing. Like we'll see where it goes. That's good.
Cool.
After like few episodes, and again last time a lot of people asked me like, what is this point of the podcast? Because I specifically talk to people on this podcast who don't make games. There is a lot of conversation in the gaming industry. I am in the scene, so as to say, for a long time. I have been making games for almost 12 years now. So the conversation is mostly with other game makers. Like if I am a game designer, I talk to another one who is also making games. There are blogs, there are podcasts, there are everything that goes around where everyone is talking to other experts from the field, which is really interesting, as like you get to learn something from other experts. But then there is this space where no one is really talking to the players. No one is really talking to how people play because everyone is different.
Yeah.
So there is this meme that I saw recently, or it's an old meme as well. Like if you put Prince Charles and Marilyn Manson as like the players, it will be, oh, old person born over here and this and this. So are they the same person? No. And that's how gaming is. Everyone has their persona, everyone has their play style, is what I call it.
Playstyle.
And
It's a lovely name, by the way.
thank
It's a
you.
lovely name for a podcast because once you say, "Hi, what's the name of your podcast?" It's Playstyle. It's hard to forget it.
Nice.
It's a
Thank you.
very nice brand name.
Yeah, and we talk about it a lot because when we make games, it's mostly like, oh, how would the player play it? What's the player's play style? Or how would X kind of player play it? It's all speculation. Most of the times, there is of course a lot of research that goes into user play styles, user research, etc., which is done on a more, I want to make this kind of game. I want to try and talk to people who play this kind of game. But that's more like official in a way. That's more like companies do it, bigger brands do it, etc. This is my effort to talk to just whoever who wants to talk to me. Just the requirement is you shouldn't have made games because
Okay.
then it makes like a fun conversation for me. Otherwise, everyone has the same perspective, right? Then
Oh,
we talk about, yeah.
in that case, I think we should end this episode right now because when I was 2 years old, no, never mind.
That being said, I think enough context has been set, and I wasted enough time initially with the blabber. So let's get on with it. How would you think of this? Like when I asked you like, oh, do you want to talk about games? When I say games, what is the first thing that you would think of, and what were your expectations? Then we can take it from there, and let's see how it goes.
My expectations, I don't know. I was frankly relieved that I'm being invited to talk on a podcast, not about politics, not about my opinions about the government, not about the state of affairs in India right now. And so I went through a personal tragedy a couple of years ago, and in order to kind of get over it, I had to find something that I had not done previously. And I chose gaming to be that thing. And
nice.
it has helped me get lost in other worlds, so to speak, because I am a science fiction writer also. I write comic books, science fiction stuff, and I like other worlds. And gaming is a very immersive medium. You lose yourself in it, which comes with its own risks, I guess. But I decided to jump into it because I needed that at that point of life, time in my life. And then I figured, because I'm a content creator, I would describe myself more as less as a gamer and more as a gaming content creator. And the two things are very different.
Yes.
Because you can be an excellent gamer and your videos can suck, or your live streams can suck. Or you can be a mediocre gamer or even a bad gamer, but you can make excellent gaming content. So I figured I'm a content creator. Maybe I can make content out of this. So I started Vemo Plays, and the channel is doing decently well. And when a channel starts, it's not huge, but I'm happy with its progress.
Oh, nice.
And I've been playing a few games quite regularly. I've been making gameplay videos and posting them. I'm planning to enter a few new games that are coming up. So we'll talk about all
yes,
that.
Yes, we will get there. Yes.
That is where I'm coming from.
Right, and this is a very good like differentiation that you made with gamer and game content creator.
Yeah.
I would also add to that, like, there's a lot of times I have this, like when I speak to my friends or someone, like, oh, I make games. Oh, you are a gamer. But then there is this difference of making games is different than being a gamer is different than being a game content creator, which is a new upcoming field, I would say now, is very different. That's a good definition over there. And like you said, like you started playing recently. Is it something that you like never played games before, or what were your like first memories of like how were the games? Like what do you remember oldest things?
So it's not like I've never played games before, but I have never actually installed Steam on my computer, put the icon on the desktop with the intention of clicking on it every day and spending some time with it every day. I guess I have downloaded games on my mobile phone as often as anyone else, and I've fiddled with things. I've played with some stuff. Some games I've played for longer. Some games I've played for less than a day, and things like that happen.
And then like what is the like if we go, what would you remember as your first game that you played? It can be anything, like it can be computer, mobile, board, anything. Like
my guess would be Ludo and Business, which is the Indian version of Monopoly.
Yes.
Because I grew up in a small town, and I also grew up in the pre-internet, pre-computer age, basically a Neanderthal. So Ludo and Business with cousins is what I remember as my first gaming experience.
And when it comes to the digital experiences, like was it the PC first or mobile first, or how was it?
PC first, definitely PC first. Mobile to bahut baad mein. And the first mobile I had was a dabba phone by Nokia. You know, the kind that if you drop on someone's head, they pass away. And
the 3310, yes.
Yeah. 3315 mine was.
Yeah, those two brands.
Roughly, yeah. 3315 was. And on it, the first game I saw was either Tetris kind of brick game or Snake. Snake is something that my mom still plays, by the way.
Oh,
and
wow.
I am actually blown away by something. And this is like when we think of gamer, we think of someone with a gaming setup and a game controller and LED lights behind them. But my mom plays Snake in the kitchen all the time. My dad plays Candy Crush while watching TV all the time.
Yes.
So gaming is actually quite a ubiquitous thing. and we don't see it that way.
Exactly, and that's what, like, a good thing you brought it up, because when you said initially, like, oh, this is the first time I started playing games as putting a Steam icon on my desktop and all that. Like, a lot of people do think of it, like, when I ask this question as, oh, do you play games, or no, not really, I don't play games. And then you ask a little further, like, yeah, I have played Snake, or I play Candy Crush, like being the common example, and yeah, you play games. So it is always fascinating for me how it's still a difference of thought when
Yeah.
it comes to, do you play games? No, not really. All the people who play games are those who have PCs which can run games, or consoles, or etc. And
Yeah.
then what do you do on your phone? Oh, I play this fun game about crashing candies or running on tracks or whatever XYZ. So
So this is actually a very interesting thing because so you know about Patreon, right?
hmm,
So the
yes,
founder of Patreon once gave a talk and he talked about the creative middle class, which is that an author or a singer, songwriter, etc. If someone says, if someone asks what you do and you say I'm a songwriter, they pat you on the back and say I hope you make it big one day.
yeah,
But if you say I'm a clerk at a local store, nobody says that. I hope you make it big someday, because apparently some professions are supposed to be smallish and some professionals are designed to be superstardom. And if you're not a superstar in that area, then you are nothing. So if you ask someone, are you a cricketer? Most people will say no. But do
yes.
you play cricket? A lot of people might say yes.
Yes,
Right?
that
So it's
that is
that.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like that, because of which, and also the way, like, also, like, this is more in the Indian context, I would say, like, games being the sidelined activity growing up. Like, every time you're like, oh, you don't play games, you study first. Like,
Yeah.
that has been our way of growing up.
खेलोगे
Yeah,
खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब. I don't know
exactly.
who started this nonsense.
Yeah, so there are so many things while growing up that you hear about, oh, games are bad because they don't help you grow. So
Yeah.
it is always this some negative context that is built around games. This is, I'm talking culturally for us, like generalizing India over here. But then now when I interact with a lot of people who around Europe, or people who have grown up outside India, mostly in the West, experience of getting to know games through board games of certain kind, or like early computer games on like really old computers, was very natural. It was very expected, and that is a very interesting difference, and that comes from, there is a lot of other history that we can go into, and then we talk about it, why this is like this. But yeah, it's a difference there, so which is interesting there.
I
And
think that may also have to do. That may also be one of the reasons. You know, sportsmanship, being a sports person as a career, is not something people encourage among Indian students. I write repeatedly about how humanities careers are not encouraged.
yeah,
The same goes with sports careers also.
exactly.
If we had a more broad-minded outlook towards gaming, people would be able to look forward to taking up gaming as a careers. But there are so many young people who want to become pro gamers, but their families are like, नहीं नहीं तो दुकान पे काम कर ले.
Yes. And it's interesting how the like, I have seen the gaming, or the gaming as a hobby, or games being more mainstream in the last 10-15 years. Like, I have been working for past 12 years, so I have seen that growth. Like, oh, people now know what is it. Like, earlier, what is mobile games? No one had any
Yeah, yeah,
idea. But then you could still see people on the train playing some mobile games on their phone, and then now it's way more common. Now it's like little more
Now
accepted.
it's so common
not
that
to-
people don't even talk about it.
Yes. Or now it has gone to an extent where it's so common that later
It's become
like,
mainstream.
Yeah, it's too mainstream, and now everyone is like, oh, people are getting addicted, and this is
Yeah, yeah,
negative
yeah.
effects and all that.
So one thing I forgot to mention was that when I was young, in my market, there was a gift shop, and that guy brought in a gaming arcade and installed it, like a proper gaming machine, arcade gaming machine with
Yeah.
a lever and everything.
Yeah.
And हम लोग सब जाते थे. I used to play Spartan X, and मतलब you put a coin
Yeah,
and you get
coin
3
machine,
games or
yes.
something.
Yeah.
I used to play Spartan X. There was a game called Islander. एंड एक महीने के अंदर मेरे स्कूल के सब बच्चों ने जाके वहाँ खेल खेल कर मशीन को तोड़ दिया एंड ही नेवर गॉट इट रिपेयर्ड. सो दैट वाज अ गोल्डन मंथ इन माय लाइफ. लाइक माइंड ब्लो, ये क्या हो रहा है? लाइक
But that's bad, right? He got it broken, but he gave up the business.
No, he did give. It was a gift shop. He thought this would add a revenue.
Yeah.
It was adding revenue, but it was not adding so much revenue that he will get it repaired for so much money. That's
Yeah,
all.
I also remember in one of our shops, like gift shop kind of thing, where I was growing up. There was this one machine with some wrestling game, like very old,
Yeah.
like 8-bit video games, and lot of people used to put like
Yeah,
one
that's the
rupee,
one,
one
that's
rupee
the one,
coins.
that's
And I was like, tabhi se I was very bad of like, oh, I don't want to spend 1 rupee coins. I'll just look at people playing. Then I used to play sometimes, but because I was bad, I was like getting to game over really soon.
I think the only reason I spent less on that machine is because it was hard to get to the market. Like walking all the way was very difficult. That's why I got saved a lot of money. If it was close to my house, I would have spent much more. So yeah, that's the thing I wanted to mention.
Yes. Now let's come to the now what you're playing or what you started playing recently, like you said with Steam that you installed, and what were some of the games that you remember, like, or you're still playing or you left playing or whatever.
So a game that I've been playing recently is a platform fighting game called Brawlhalla. I've been playing it on PC, but it's also available on mobile, on Android.
Oh, there is a mobile version. I played.
There is. Yeah.
I played it on Switch a bit, but I know, yeah.
So I don't enjoy playing games on the mobile as much as I enjoy it on the PC because, as I said, immersive nature of it is what initially drew me to it. There are some games which are extremely easily playable on mobile, which require the basic minimum amount of tapping. But if it requires you to slide your fingers on the screen for anything more than the fraction of a second, I get turned off. So I play Brawlhalla on the screen. I also play Minecraft.
Oh, nice.
I mostly build in Minecraft.
It's a very different genre from Brawlhalla, so that's
I know,
why
I know.
it's like very
I was
interesting.
looking at my gaming channel. So here's the thing about gaming channels. Your channel performs best when it is about one game, right?
Yeah.
If you send out mixed signal to the algorithm, then the audience can't decide. Wait, will I get excited when I watch this channel, or will I feel calm when I watch this channel? Minecraft is a game that has remained relevant for 11 years now.
Yes.
And there is a lot of, if one wants to make Minecraft based content, there is a lot of audience waiting for it.
Yes.
But I don't produce as much content in Minecraft as I do in Brawlhalla because I play Brawlhalla every day. Minecraft I probably play once or twice a week. So since my goal is to grow the channel, I'm focusing on Brawlhalla, but I'm not getting that many views. So I'm in the channel is quite in an initial stage where I'm deciding what to do with it.
Yeah. But then do you play just for the content creation for the channel, or
No.
like any other games?
That's the thing. Brawlhalla I will play even if I was not making content on the basis of it. But with Minecraft, my goal is to explain things through gameplay. Because it allows for a very interesting dynamic, right? There's a character walking around in the world talking to the audience. So that is what I want to do with Minecraft. And that is the goal. Let's see if I reach there. But Brawlhalla is something that I enjoy immensely. My arms hurt after a long session. I'm playing with such intensity.
But do you play on a controller or
Controller, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah, it's torture. My left hand has stopped hurting. Like it has gotten used to it. My right hand still hurts a lot. But yeah, so Brawlhalla, Minecraft. On mobile, I'm playing a game called... So you've heard of Alto's Adventure?
Yes. It's the skiing kind... Not skiing.
Yeah. So there's
skiing
Alto's
game, yes.
Adventure, and the game following that was Alto's Odyssey.
Yes.
I'm playing those right now. And I really love the way the game looks. Because it makes me... There's a minimum amount of engagement I have to do with the screen. All I have to do is tap in order to make him jump and keep my finger pressed on the screen in order to make him do somersaults in the air.
Yes.
And what I love about it is that it is aesthetically very pleasing. There is a weather system. So as you're skiing, the day changes, night comes, storms happen. There are different biomes inside such a tiny little game.
Yeah.
Right? So that is what blows my mind. And I really love it. I'm playing it almost twice a day right now.
Oh, nice.
Whenever I'm, even like after I edit a video and the video is rendering, I'll pick it on, play a little bit of Alto.
Oh, nice.
Minecraft also I tried on mobile, but I hated it.
Yeah, I
Like
was
it's
going to
supposed
ask
you're
that.
supposed to
Yes.
be inside a world, right?
Yeah.
You can't do it with a tiny window in front of you. So I couldn't. So I got Minecraft Java version and I play it on PC. My computer can't handle many of the really new games, which I would love to try. Like I really want to try out Detroit Become Human, but I can't right now. My PC needs to be upgraded. And yeah, that is about it right now. I also there is a genre of games called card battlers or
Yes.
rogue-like deck building games. Those I
Yes.
really like. I played something called Rogue Book, something called Slay the Spire. I played Legends of Runeterra and Hearthstone. I really like card games.
But do you like this is also more PC than mobile?
It's all mostly PC. Mobile is
Okay.
very little of it.
Yeah, because
Mostly, yeah,
like Hearthstone is also on mobile, and with card
Hearthstone.
battlers, it's a very different experience, right? Because you just have to click. It translates well to mobile, if even compared to, I
Yeah,
would
so
say,
it's a
Minecraft. Yeah.
Hearthstone and Legends of Runeterra are games in which when you are starting a game,
Mm-hmm.
your mind is not in the frame of mind which is like, okay, 8 ghanta gaya. You can play one or two games and you can come out of it.
Yes.
With some other games, when you sit down, like the games that Meghnad was talking about in your last episode,
Yes.
where Factorio, etc.,
Yeah.
you have to have at least a few hours in your hand when you join. You can't quickly jump in, have a quick game, and come out.
Yeah.
They're like
It's
stories.
Yes, it's very interesting that, like with my last episode with Meghnad, he is also like a writer. He talks about like you are a storyteller also, and you write about things. And there is a very similar interest when it comes to, oh, game. I look for story. Is this something that you look for when you're doing like when you're deciding a new game to play? Would you be like, oh, this has good story, I will definitely play this, or it would
I
be
actually
whatever?
don't look for story because my intention is to play a game in order to, I want to get in, get out, and then just, do whatever I was doing before that.
Mm-hmm.
With Minecraft, the thing is that I want to make a story. Minecraft doesn't have a story.
Yeah.
Minecraft allows me to make the story. So
Yes.
that is the kind of game I prefer more. Uh, with there are games which have extensive stories and lores, etc.
Yes.
I don't actually enjoy them that much
Nice.
because at the end of the day, those are someone else's stories, and I have other stories in my head that I want to do justice to. I sometimes fantasize about, okay, I'm writing this novel thing, maybe this could be a game someday, and then I get carried away and I stop because लो पहले novel तो लिख ले, game के बारे में बाद में सोचना.
Yeah, but then you have the story ready for the game, or you can
Yeah.
build it on any other game. Like in Minecraft, you can play through your
Oh yeah,
story.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm planning to do that. Like if I'm writing something set in a fantasy world, I'm thinking that I could use Minecraft to create maps of the place or large buildings of the place of this island, that palace, that castle and stuff. I've seen some videos and it seems very interesting. I would
Yeah.
like to try that.
And there are a lot of, like, I forgot the name of the platform. There are some platforms which allow you to do a story based, like, linking very easily. So if you're actually building out a story based game, you can like write your story and then, oh, if you choose
Oh yeah,
this
outliners.
happens. Yeah,
There's something called Ginkgo.
I think so. There are many of these. Like, I remember
Basically,
using. Yeah.
mind mapping software.
Yes.
Uh,
So yeah, that's cool. And okay, before we go into the game making aspect of it, so we'll come back to game playing aspects of things. And do you then like also play on any other consoles, or you're limited to PC
No man, I
and
don't have a
mobile?
console. I eventually will get one, but right
Yeah.
now I'm mostly just a PC gamer.
Okay. And then like you said, it's uh, the game that looks beautiful. That's something it interests you. On the other hand, a lot of actually like more realistic, more beautiful looking games require a very high end PC, which you mentioned you don't have. So what is that like? What do you see for in the art aspect of things? Like, oh, this is something that interests me, this art style, or is it like just
No.
random?
I think for me the selling part would be the game dynamic itself, the game mechanics themselves. I'm not really hung up on graphics. I think Minecraft is not high-end graphics. Brawlhalla is not high-end graphics.
Yes.
They look cute enough to work.
Yeah.
I think one of the mistakes that huge companies are making right now is that they are focusing more and more energy into graphics. And they're making games more and more inaccessible to people with slightly older computers. Like my computer is not बाबा आदम के ज़माने का हड़प्पा
It's
में
still
खुदाई हुआ
decent.
कंप्यूटर. It's okay. It's not bad at all. I do video editing on it. I do podcast recording on it. I do live streaming on it. I do a whole lot of stuff on it. And it can't handle games. Imagine that. So if this thing keeps getting like higher and higher standards for computer specs, I think that's what, like, the running joke in my head is that AAA games are called AAA games is because that's your reaction when you find out what it's going to require. You're saying, that's what AAA means.
That's a good way to put it. Cool. I didn't think of it that way, but nice. Now, with the example of Brawlhalla, I'm just using the examples that we spoke about. Like, feel free to add more games. Like with the example of Brawlhalla versus Minecraft, maybe, or Alto's Adventure. Alto's Adventure is more of your single player experience, where Brawlhalla is you play with other people, right? Is it like a battle royale, or is it just...
No, it's not a battle royale. There are different modes in it. There is you play as a certain character, you practice. Then you can either enter fights against a single person or against 3 people at the same time. Like, it's a 4v4. Everyone is trying to hurt everyone. Which is kind of like a battle royale. But it's a platform fighter, which means there is no map. You have a platform and a few other, assorted elements. You can fall off them. And other players' goal is to make you fall off. Your goal is to make them fall off. Whoever lasts the longest, like, you have 3 lives. If you lose 1 life, then 2nd life, then 3rd life, then you're dead and the game is lost.
Yeah, it's like those Mario Bros. Also started.
Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Those started this kind of genre. It's like that. Like,
and a new one is coming, by the way. That's what I'm waiting for also. With Minecraft, I'm waiting for something called Minecraft Legends. Which is going to be a strategy game.
Yes.
In the Minecraft dynamic, in the Minecraft blocky style. And platform fighter, I'm waiting for something called Multiverses, which is going to be a DC Warner Brothers property kind of thing, which is kind of like Brawlhalla, but all the characters are going to be from Warner Brothers properties. Like Superman, Batman, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, Arya Stark.
Yeah. I had very mixed reaction to that. It's like very weird to get all of them and kind of diluting your IP. But
I think the weirdness is part of the charm of it.
Yeah, let's see how it comes out to be. Like, it's very interesting that they are using these kind of different characters. Some other games have done it, like with their other IPs as well. So I think it's
even Brawlhalla does it. Brawlhalla is a small indie studio run game, I think, but they enter into partnerships with other companies, and sometimes their characters show up. For example, inside Brawlhalla, you can play as Po the Panda from Kung Fu Panda. You can play as Hellboy. You can play as Street Fighter ke characters and a whole lot of other things also. Finn the Human, Stephen Universe and all that.
But then do you play them for because it's Po the Panda, or because the Po the Panda has a kick which is like just... Is the aesthetic matter?
Po the Panda is a skin for a character who already exists in Brawlhalla.
Okay.
And if you play as that character, you can buy Po the Panda and play as that character. So there is very little variation in terms of gameplay. There is only visual effects that are different.
Yeah.
But I'm playing something called... Suppose I'm playing as a character called Cross. Cross's abilities are that he has gauntlets and that he has a power punch.
Yeah.
You can buy the Hellboy skin for Cross, who does the same things. It just looks different.
Okay. And this is a free-to-play game, right?
It's a free-to-play game, and then there are, skin upgrades and all you can buy.
So does any of the microtransactions in a way, like the skin upgrades or maybe currencies, I'm not sure, but do they interest you, or do you stay away from it? Have you...
No, I buy.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
The first day I got Brawlhalla, I bought all the characters. I spent 1,000 rupees and I bought all the characters, and I was like, I can't wait. No, because ever since I started the gaming channel, I have a little money set aside to invest on games.
Yeah.
And when I got Brawlhalla, I figured, oh wow, this is free. So I still have the money. I might as well spend it on it. Yeah. So I spent it, and I have access to all the characters. Not all the skins, but all the characters I have access to.
Okay.
And I've bought some upgrades sometimes. Not in order to win, but just a shinier sword or a certain chest or something. But I've been playing for like a few weeks now. I've settled down on one character, and I know that this is my character now, and I've not bought anything for a couple of weeks now.
And have you tried any other similar games to Brawlhalla? Like, we mentioned Smash Bros, but there are like...
Yeah, there are. There is one upcoming game called Framemakers. It's not out yet. And then there is Multiverses, which is coming out. Super Smash Bros. I can't play on PC apparently, so I
I
have not
think
tried it.
it's Nintendo specific,
Yeah,
so
it's a
either it's
Nintendo thing.
Switch or something.
In fact,
Yeah,
Brawlhalla was created because Super Smash Bros. Was not cross-platform.
yeah.
So Brawlhalla came into existence, and I have tried a few others, but I find that Brawlhalla works for me the best.
And then with this aspect of looking at there are multiple characters, you kind of specialize in your one character and then
Hmm.
be good at
Yeah.
it. This kind do you see in any other games, like to say games like Dota or League of Legends, or like even Brawl Stars for the mobile
Huh.
version? Have you tried
Yeah,
that, or
yeah,
what do
yeah.
you think of
I played
that?
Brawl Stars a lot. I forgot to mention it
Ah,
actually.
nice.
I was playing Brawl Stars quite regularly until last year. But then I eventually gave up because other things came up, and I kind of like my problem was that I was getting. I'm a very single focused person, so if I'm obsessed with something, I go all in. So that's what was starting to happen with Brawl Stars, and it was starting to cut into time that should go into work, into video editing, into podcasting, etc. So I kind of stopped. I deleted all the games. But as I mentioned, now that I have made gaming part of work itself, I'm able to approach it in a slightly more healthy manner.
Yeah, so just so that, like, because it felt like, oh, gaming is bad, now you made gaming a work, and then you now feel good about it. Okay, it's
Yeah,
still the same mentality. Okay.
yeah. No, gaming is bad. Nahi. It's a failing in me. If
Yeah,
there are
yeah, I
people,
agree.
if there are people who can, ration their time smartly, and they say, okay, मैं दिन में 1 घंटा game खेलूंगा, and this is the hour I will play games. I am unable to do that. So the problem is in me, not in the games.
But it's okay. Yeah, good for people like us if people play more games. So I will
Absolutely.
not comment on it.
Survive on addiction, will you?
No comments. Like any other interesting games, like with Brawl Stars, for example, was it also a similar experience that you now get in Brawlhalla, or was it
Yeah,
different?
kind of.
Yeah.
So the appeal of Brawlhalla and Brawl Stars is that they're like toys, or rather they're like boxes inside which I have a virtual toy. So right, I have a character, I can make it run around and do things, and I can accumulate a score of some sort using that character. So it's like living through a cartoon character and doing things in a strange world, which is the aspect that I like most about it. It's there is no story there. There is lore behind
Yeah.
the game that I want to explore and I love to explore, but I don't put too much stock in it. Like in the recent times, there has been a lot of demand for a story mode inside Brawlhalla. I think I will love it when it comes out and I'll play it and I'll make videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But even without it, my imagination does not stop there, right? Because I'm already making up stories in my head when I'm playing it. So for me, that aspect, the if the game gives me the freedom to imagine, then I like it more than if the game tells me exactly who the character is and exactly what they're going to do. So I am slightly partial to games which allow me to create my own character and do my own story. And
Yeah.
Minecraft does that.
Yeah. And also, have you tried any other RPGs which, like the role playing games where you have to create your character, like something like Skyrim, like being a old
Again,
example?
do not talk to me about Skyrim and stuff because my PC cannot handle them.
Skyrim is fairly old. I think it
Yeah,
should
so
be able
no,
to.
I
Yeah.
think when Skyrim came out, I was not into it.
Okay.
But more recently, I tried to play League of Legends, but I kind of got lost because the learning curve is a bit steep there.
Yeah.
And that is also another complaint I have against games, but we'll get to that.
Yes, that's what I was getting to. Like with games which are like these grander games, like say with Skyrim, for example.
Yeah.
First of all, you need to spend a really long time as well with the examples
grinding
you
it.
yeah with the examples you mentioned, say Brawlhalla or Brawl Stars, like those two. It's
Yeah.
more of a contained box in which
Yeah.
your story is created. Like
Yeah.
you go in for the 3 minutes and then you enjoy your interactions over there. Where it comes to the bigger games, where the RPGs, for example, they have 60 hours of storyline, like something like Assassin's Creed or whatever. So does that interest you, or is it even though it has your own storytelling aspects? Like for example, with Skyrim, you can make your own character and go wherever you want, and then you try to build that story in your head. I am this, haha, I am this funny character looting people and then giving them their thing, and make it funny for yourself or serious, etc. But the play style there is completely different. So does that deter you, or would you look forward to it? Like,
Well, I guess my answer would be I'm too old for it. Because I honestly can't sit in one place for 8 hours and play a game. I don't know if I was ever that guy because my childhood went past. I think the last time I remember sitting in one place and playing a game for a couple of hours was when Age of Empires demo version came to me in a form of a CD.
yeah,
I installed it on my uncle's computer, and every day I got a scolding because his computer was getting slower because of it. So that is what I remember. That is the closest I've ever come to sitting down and playing a game, long form.
yeah.
But other than that, my gaming mostly has been games in which I can dip in and then come out.
And that is something.
And
like,
in fact, by the way, sorry to interrupt, but one of the things that has been holding me back from jumping into Minecraft full time is this only, because I hesitate before opening Minecraft because I'm thinking ये गया 3 घंटा जाएगा इसके अंदर अभी ऐसा.
That's why Minecraft is that kind of experience
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
go
yeah.
in and then you will not know where your
You
day
stop
goes.
being yourself. You are someone else in there.
And then you have like hundreds of goals to do.
Yeah.
But then do you set your own goals based on something like, oh, I want to build this kind of structure, or is it just like I will see whatever I want to get?
So I entered Minecraft, and so what happens with survival mode is that the first time I played Minecraft, that world I have deleted because every time I opened it,
Yeah.
it was the middle of the night and I was surrounded by zombies. So I will enter the game, within seconds I'll be dead. Then
Yeah.
I'll again respawn and I'll die. I'll respawn. It was torture. So I deleted that world because I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
The second time I went in, I was overcautious. I was like, I have to survive. So the first thing I did was that I dug a cave and I sealed myself in whenever it got slightly dark. I had a small hole. I'll stand there the whole night and look out to make sure that no ghosts or zombies are coming. When the sky went blue, when the sun rose, I'll come out, I'll dig a little, but I'll keep looking around to make sure it is
there
not dark
something,
yet. Right? And then I thought, this is no way to play it. Right? So what if I die? I'll take a little risk. And I thought that the next time I log in, I'll take a risk. I'll go out and do stuff. And that world is still at that stage. I haven't gone in there. I've started a creative mode game where you can't die, which is basically like I keep thinking that Minecraft is the real world where death exists, and creative mode is heaven, where
You're
you
already
have,
dead.
yeah, where you have all the power in the world.
Yeah.
You have infinite creativity and you cannot die. Right? I mean, there are monsters, but they can't kill you. So. I think I'm going to build some stuff in creative mode in order to gather I'm going to build things through the night while playing with while fighting monsters, so that I gather some courage, and then I can go back to the survival mode thing, and this time I'll be more adventurous. I'll make a boat and go out and swim and stuff.
Do they have monsters in creative mode as well? The zombies?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Zombies, creepers, etc. They come, they attack you, but you don't die. That is
Okay. Oh, okay. In creative
you
mode,
can kill them, but they can't kill you. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I thought creative mode was just without zombies, because I don't remember much of Minecraft now. Yeah.
When was the last time you played it?
I haven't played a lot actually. Like I have just like seen someone else play, or mostly like tried it a little bit on and off, but not really going into the game. So I know what exists, but haven't given so much time because of the same reason that I know if I sit there, it will be like so many hours gone. I just don't want to go
I
there.
also try to learn installing mods and stuff so that I can record the gameplay properly and have panoramic shots and stuff. Because that
there's
really
a lot
helps
of
with the
stuff on
videos.
Minecraft. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it has helped this whole content creation as a thing as well, like which is very easy in Minecraft because you can build whatever you want and then tell whatever stories you want, and there is a lot
By the
of
way,
things
that is like if the first few times and this is not just Minecraft, whenever I search YouTube for how to play a game, you get tutorials that call themselves basic tutorials. And you start the tutorial and you are being told by someone in a language that can only be understood by people who have been playing the game for years. Like, a tutorial stand. So all you need is 59 dark emeralds, 4 crystalline ladders, and 5 buckets of green water. What
Yeah.
are these things? Like, tell me. Like, when I look for a basic tutorial, you
Yeah.
should treat me as if I don't know anything about the game. And this guy already has 3 swords. And he's acting as if everyone has 3 swords. I don't have 3 swords. I want to learn how to get one sword. I had to work really hard, by the way, to find out how to play Minecraft. Everyone was saying, so you pick up this thing and you put this thing there, and how do I pick things up? Nobody told me that.
But
So
does
I worked very hard to find a video which gave me all the mouse keyboards, as in shortcuts. I wrote them down because there are the videos which go into this clearly. One video I found after
Yeah.
a lot of research. So gaming community is kind of inside its own head a lot. They don't seem to make a space where a complete newbie can come in and learn something. And this applies to many games.
Yes. And do you think this is like I think also because Minecraft has been around for so long, people have grown up with games like Minecraft. There is a lot of this
Maybe, yeah, that's one of the reasons. Yeah.
understanding that, yeah, of course you know how to do this.
Yeah.
That is the thing. But when it comes to some games, I believe Brawlhalla or even Brawl Stars, that gives you a decent enough idea of what you want to do, like on the tutorializing aspect of it.
I think
So
mobile games have it slightly different because everything you have to do is on the screen,
yeah,
right? And there is no way to hide it. With PC, there is a keyboard. There are so many keys. There are combinations. There are, what are they called? Combo moves. So those have to be taught somehow. And people often take it for granted. I've been playing a game since childhood.
Yeah.
Clearly, you have also been doing the same. No, I have not. I'm just starting.
it's like the thing, like when you have any game with character movement on PC, it is very understood that it's WASD for
Yeah.
movement, and it's so obvious
Do you
for
know,
anyone.
I
Yeah,
I got a demo car racing game
Yeah.
long back in the mid 2000s on my uncle's PC and I was playing it. The first thing I did was that I went into the options and changed the WASD to the
Arrow
arrow
keys.
keys,
Yeah.
right? Because that makes more intuitive sense to me.
yes. Yeah, initially it was like that, and now you can at least change. But now it's like WASD is so common. I think most of the games allow you to change. But
Yeah,
that
they
is
do.
like when you come from the perspective of someone who has played some games, you drop them in a game which has a character. You Even though the game will have tutorial plus W to move whatever, it's your hand just goes on WASD very easily. So it's
Yeah, that does not happen for me. I have to look at, wait, okay, WAS, no matter how many times I do it, even
Yeah.
with Minecraft, it is not intuitive for me. I remind myself it's WASD every time when I start, and then I put my other hand on the mouse and then I play.
Yeah, and that's it. Like a lot of people who are new to gaming, who come into like, oh, this is something interesting that would I would like to play and experience. There is a lot of this gap of information. Why is it WASD? Like no one would like tell you, or it is only after you play few games you realize, okay, this is what every game does. It is
Yeah, yeah.
standard, etc., etc.
Have you seen that YouTube video series called Gaming for a Non-Gamer?
No, not really.
There is a
But I'll
YouTube
check
channel
it out.
called Rasputin,
Mhm.
and he has an entire series of videos called Gaming for a Non-Gamer. I think you should watch it. It's very enlightening. I loved it because it brought to light so many problems I myself was having.
Yes, and it is very interesting. Like whenever we also make games for a more general audience, like we want everyone to play our games, and that's the like I would say a little bit more of a difference than when it comes to PC games or like playing on console, where there is some amount of expectation from the player that you of course know how to move, you of course know how to move your mouse or whatever. But when it comes to mobile games, and if you're really targeting to a very wider audience, you need to be very wary about like how it's accessible to everyone. So whenever we think of like making something, oh, is this understandable, you have to swipe left, no, it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
intuitive, then do we put a explanation? How people don't read, then how do we explain it in a way that your level sets it up for you so that you do it?
That
So
is
there
actually a very good point because there are some games where even though I love reading, there is
Yeah.
so much text on the screen that I get turned off. I have actually had games on my phone where I start playing, but the tutorial level is so verbose
Yeah.
that I instantly uninstall the game. Like it should not take me 5 minutes to understand what the game is. Just start playing and explain to me as things go.
Yeah,
But
and
they'll start with a backstory 5,000 years ago. Fuck off. I don't give a shit.
exactly, and that's why the great example everyone says is the first level of Mario. Like wherever you play, you just start
Yeah,
going left to
yeah,
right because
exactly.
your character is on the left,
Yeah,
and you will not move to your left. Like you might, but it's very obvious. Oh, okay,
yeah.
right. I have a right button. Let me move. Okay, I click something. He jumps. So that's a great example that everyone
I wonder
gives
if there is
generally.
a culture associated with it. Maybe in some cultures where writing is from right to left, maybe it's different. Maybe it's not intuitive.
Maybe I didn't think about it. I haven't read anything about
I
it, but
mean,
I'll
I
try
agree
to.
with you.
Yeah,
If I got a character on the left of my screen, I would naturally. It seems very intuitive to think that someone will move from left to right, but
yeah.
maybe it's not the same for everyone.
But then again, like how you place your things, like you have your objectives or something which is or a marker which shows something is on your right. You can see like bricks on your right. Okay, I need to go there because you don't need to be told to go there. You just see shiny stuff, you go there. Like it has to be still intuitive. So maybe because of the cultural aspect, there might be some difficulty, but I don't think so. There would be because you always see on your right, on your left, there is nothing. You come in, okay, I can see something brick
Yeah,
thing over
I
there. There is
agree.
a
I agree.
box. Yeah.
I agree, but I'm just wondering if it is cultural or maybe it's not intuitive to everyone. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very like very common that this happens. There is a lot of times, like I have worked on games where we try to explain something with text, but then are people who are going to see your game in a different language going to understand it? Not really. Or are the younger people who don't really know to read going to understand it? Not really. So it has to limit your text to just one word so that it's easy to remember. Or it has to be very intuitive that, oh, green button, click here, click here, click here. Okay, you're done. Now you do it again, you realize. So tutorializing is a very important aspect of any game. And when it comes to mobile games or the games, I would say, which are targeted to a more broader audience, it's like stronger, I would say, over there because that's how they get it. Like the example of Candy Crush. Anyone can really get
Yeah,
what you have to do because they literally show you clear out every screen and do this. Okay, I
yeah,
did this.
yeah.
This happened. Great. That's how you teach well, I would say.
I think ideally the tutorial should be seamlessly woven in with the gameplay itself.
Yeah.
If it's a separate thing, like in Brawlhalla, you have something called training mode. Because there are so many characters, right? The same key will do different things for different characters.
Yeah.
So you go into training mode and you practice. So that's how. There is no tutorial,
Yeah.
but if you want, you can practice. If you don't want to practice, you can straight away jump into a game.
But then, do you like coming back to Brawlhalla? Do you enjoy playing with the online? Does it have only online battles, or does it also have AI opponents? I don't
It
remember.
does have AI opponents, but I don't like them.
So it is,
I like the idea of playing with an actual human being.
yeah. So even though you may or may not know if it's actual human being, right?
Well, they act like human
Yeah,
beings.
yeah, yeah. Of
They're
course.
mostly a-holes. When they lose, they show you a down thumb or they will send abusive messages in the chat. That's how you know it's a real
That's
person. Then you feel, अच्छा ये गालियाँ दे रहा है मतलब मेरा जीवन सफल हो गया.
yeah. But do you also feel that when someone else defeats you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I try to take it well, but sometimes that's not possible. Like, if a fight starts, my idea of a good fight is where even if I don't win, I at least manage to give in a few good hits to them.
Yeah.
I at least do some damage. But if a fight starts and from beginning to end, I'm unable to even touch them.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you run into an extremely talented player. That's when I get really pissed. That's like 5 minutes down the drain. कुछ भी नहीं कर पाया. I was just swinging my weapon. They were jumping all over the place and, handing me my ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So can imagine like that happens. Like that's what multiplayer games are
Yeah.
designed to do. And when it's a like good matchmaking, you mostly end up being nice.
Yeah.
Like you get a equal comparable fight. But if it's bad, then yeah, of course
Now the
it's
matchmaking it doesn't work, right? Sometimes there are people who are high level players,
Yeah.
but they create alternate accounts just to come among us noobs and destroy us.
Yeah, that happens in Brawlhalla as well. Like
A lot.
oh wow. Yeah, it's a thing with a lot of these games which have your profile like ranking associated to it, because after a point where you have reached a particular ranking, you don't really want to lose. So if I really want to play, I would go make different profile and then just start playing.
Yeah. But I think some people have suggested a feature that if someone is not using their account for a few months, they should lose one ranking point and then another and then another. So it's just because somebody has reached platinum level
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they deserve to remain there even if they're not playing the game.
Yeah, this is very this is interesting in another way for me, because there is always a aspect of, oh, I would like to have profile or my show off my vanity aspect in a game, which is great. And when it's a game which gives you a competition, like where you're competing with someone else, me losing drops my profile vanity in some way, right? So it kind of incentivizes me to make different profile to do the spam game
Yeah.
and use only
It's a
one.
measure. It's a measure to reduce toxicity in the game,
Yeah.
right?
But then it kind of goes into this, like for me who is a super, I care about this game so much, I really want to keep my rank as higher, but I don't want to go into very high battles, like difficult battles.
Yeah.
It incentivizes me to make another profile in that way, which is a negative influence.
Maybe.
Like,
I
yeah.
don't know how high level players' minds work. I don't think I'm ever going to get there. I don't think I'm at the silver stage right now. I don't think I'm ever going to get to gold. But I love the game nevertheless. That's
Ah,
the
nice.
point. Maybe if I ever become extremely talented at the game, I will have these thoughts. Right now, I have no frame of reference.
And then if you already mentioned couple of games that you're looking forward to, but then if I have to just generally check, because what if there is a new game, what would really interest you to go click on it and play it, like?
That's interesting. So, as I said, there is a game called Slay the Spire. It's a card battler.
Yes.
Recently, it was very popular. It has some characters and a little bit of lore, but it has no story. And that is the kind of game that really appeals to me. Like, there should be a world, but the rules of that world should not be hard and fast established and served to me on a platter. I want to exercise my imagination while I'm playing the game. So I like a well-designed, beautiful game with nice game mechanics, but the story that is playing in my head when I'm playing it, I want to make that story myself.
Yeah. And do you see yourself like limited to a kind of lore? Like for example, Slay the Spire, it's a little more fantasy, something like mostly fantasy there. Like even with Hearthstone, it is still fantasy.
Fantasy,
Do you see yourself as sticking to fantasy, or something realistic would be also
No, not
interesting?
realistic. Which is why I could never get into PUBG and CS:GO, etc.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy games with glorify war. I don't like guns unless they're fantasy guns, and I like sword and sorcery, dragons, medieval settings, magical forests and stuff like that. That's what I like. That's why I like Minecraft also, because Minecraft is so nondescript. You have no idea what time is it there, right?
Yes.
There are monsters, but there are also people wearing shirts and pants, right?
Yeah,
People are
it
building
is
cars,
just-
but
yeah.
there is also a dragon.
It is
So that
everything.
kind of mixed thing is what I enjoy most, because then I can choose what I want to do with it. I can be medieval in a city, in a modern urban setting, or I can be a modern person in a medieval setting. That's what I enjoy most.
Yeah, you have that much like ease of choosing your whatever you want over there.
Yeah.
The realistic part I asked because then lot of games provide you with that, oh, I can have your own story in any way, like even PUBG for
Yeah.
people who play it.
PUBG is
it
that
is
sort.
similar.
With PUBG, my problem is that, like, I'm not going to be good at that game because I'm not that skilled.
Yeah.
I'm never going to destroy teenagers in a PUBG. They're gods basically.
Yeah.
But what I can do when I started a gaming channel, I figured that okay, maybe I'm not good at the gameplay part, but I can tell a story,
Yeah.
right? I can put up a fight. I can narrate it. I can give it a backdrop, and I can introduce elements like hope and despair and victory against all odds. Yesterday I did a 4v4 fight where I was destroyed in the first minute. I lost my 2 lives, but by the end of it I was maximum score. So there is a story there, right?
Yeah.
Underdog comes in, gets destroyed, picks up his weapon again, and then destroys everyone and wins.
Yeah.
So that I can do. I'm a storyteller, so I can make video game content which is story based.
Story based. That's very interesting way to look at it. Because anyway, a good game or a game experience which is like bound to a time or bound to something like Brawl Stars, for example. You go in, you have just 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes, something. It feels good if it goes like a story. It has a start, middle, and end. Like end is whether you lose or whether you win. If you win,
Yeah, of
it's
course,
great.
I'm not going to put up videos where I'm losing miserably. But the idea is to, like, when I'm making content, I have to think from the point of view of the person who's going to watch the video. So if they can relate with the character, with whatever is happening, then that's a successful video.
Yeah, like when it comes to content creation, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm also saying from your game experience point of view, if
Yeah,
it would
absolutely.
be
Yeah.
just a game which like goes down in motivation, by the end of it you would be like,
Or even if, by the way, even if I start a game and the person I'm playing against absolutely has no idea how to play, and it is extremely easy, like I just have to push them off the stage. There's no challenge. Those are even worse.
yeah,
Because losing is, at least I struggled a little bit. Like, endorphins came out. This is like, अरे यार ये कौन है? Tuk. That's it. Game khatam. Waste of time लगता है. I want to suffer a little, and at the end of it, I want to win. But even if I don't win, the suffering is its own reward.
yeah, of course. I mean, even if you lose, a lot of times that fight till the last second, that is what gives you that I had it. But yeah, this is like a lot of interesting points, and to look from your perspective of like, oh, this is a story, which is what, like, even while making the game, I'm sure they are trying to make it, because the games are structured in that way. Like in Brawl Stars, initially it will be slower. Last minutes you get more stuff easily, and like the whole level is aligned in some way that by the end of the level you have already destroyed a lot of things, so it becomes easier to score a goal or collect something, and then the clash becomes more exciting, the climax of the movie, that kind of thing.
In my experience, what happens in Brawlhalla is that the trick is to persevere. Like it is very likely that when the game starts, a match starts, you will get beaten up royally. But you have to remember that other people are also human beings and they get tired. So if you persevere till the end, you can get them when they are tired.
Nice. Like I enjoyed this. Like I was thinking so many things because of the perspective you brought. Like, oh yeah, this is how you look at the whole game and your own story. And the reason I asked this realistic part of things, also because, for example, for me, I also like this, this is your story of your character or whatever. But I try to do it a lot more in sports games. Like in FIFA, I have a manager character who goes from the lowest tier club to a high tier club, wins the Champions League. That's my
that
story.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's my
because you
story.
are the person who's
Yeah.
managing the team.
Yeah. And then I try to win it. But then for me, I like it because I like the realistic aspect of it, thinking of it like, oh, there is a news article about this character. This is cool. Or, that's interesting. And before we close, we stuck a lot into this fantasy kind of games. Is there anything that you would like to play which is not what you know? Like, what would be something new that would interest you, if you have something in your mind?
Well, I don't know how to answer that. If I have not seen it, how would I know I like it?
Yeah,
but I guess like the best answer would be I will know when I see it. But You know, there is a certain amount of joy in repetition. There is a YouTube channel called Retromation who only plays retro games. I love that channel because he'll try out new games which have come out and they look like a retro game. He plays card games, roguelike deck builders, and the kind of stuff that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Often the game mechanics are the same,
Yes.
but there's a slight difference in character, different colors, different lore, uh, uh, different animation styles and stuff like that. So that is my way of, like, you have a TV show which you always watch when you want to watch something comfortable.
Yeah.
So that is my kind of game which I go back to. I don't know what new form of game I would start loving. I did not know when I started Brawlhalla that I would enjoy fighting games this much. I thought I was a calm kind of person and I would like Minecraft is my kind of thing. And Minecraft is my kind of thing, but not in the survival mode. Turns out creative mode is my kind of thing. I'm a builder. I'm not
Yeah.
a fighter. But in Brawlhalla, surprisingly, I'm a fighter.
Yeah. But both support your vision of whatever story you can make.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
That's I guess the
I don't want it served to me on a plate. I want to work on it in my head.
but that is also the positives of the medium itself, I would say.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
gaming
Absolutely.
games being an interactive medium, you will have interaction and reaction, right? You interact with anything, there
Yeah.
will be something. And
You know what? Also, another thing. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt again,
yeah,
and sorry to pull this out for so long. But there is a thing where I sometimes imagine that if this game was made into a movie,
hmm
what would I want it to look like? And that movie is the one that is playing inside my head all the time. So League of Legends does an excellent job of it by feeding audience videos, short animation films, music videos, and everything, because they have a lot of money. So
Yeah, of course.
they can do it. But Brawlhalla can't do it.
Yeah.
And in my head, I have also already done it. There are so many stories, so many things that I think can happen in this world.
Interesting. Yes. And there are a lot of movies based on games already. Have you checked
Yeah.
out? I haven't liked any of them. But
Yeah,
your
they always
views.
disappoint. Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly they disappoint. But Halo, the series that recently came out
Yeah, I
based
haven't
on
watched
Halo,
it. Yeah.
I haven't ever played Halo, but watch Halo the series. It's quite nice.
Ah, nice. Yeah, but I guess it's also to your point. All the movies that are actually created on the games will disappoint because when
If you have
are
played the game,
yeah, if you have played
Yeah.
the game, you have your idea of the story, right? You have your
Yeah.
idea of what the character is. Like the recent one was Uncharted, which is
Mm-hmm.
the game series which they turned into the movie. And I watched the trailer. I'm like, no, these are not my ideas of the characters or.
I
like,
think
what
I
they
might
would do.
enjoy the movie. Maybe like maybe people who played the game did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
But since I have not played the game, maybe I'll enjoy it.
Maybe, yeah, that's what. Like there is the bias which it's like book to movies kind of thing.
By the way, did you see Free Guy?
Yes, I liked it.
It was not based on any game, but it was based in a game dynamic kind of
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
and it was very interesting.
it was very nicely made, yeah.
Yeah, very nicely made.
I liked it. It was like it reminded me also of the Lego movie kind of setup, like because everyone is a character in this, and the Lego movie everyone is in the city that way. But yeah, it was a fun movie. I remember watching it. Yeah, nice. I think we have spoken a lot. Do we have anything more to discuss? I don't know. I don't have any questions.
No, this was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for doing this. Such
Yeah,
a relief.
I hope you enjoyed this 1 hour of
I did.
non-political conversation. And thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you, Ishan.
And yes, thanks.
Thank you,
We-
and wish you best of luck for the future of the podcast. Also, I hope you reach hundreds of episodes and eventually do start spending some money on it.
Yes, I hope so too. So that's why I'm starting slowly, and I hope like more people would like to now talk to me about games because as I said initially, it's like I just want to talk to more people about the games they play, and it's not necessarily a kind of games that I look for because I've spoken to some of my friends who have played more sports games and like different kinds on mobiles, on board games. We were discussing Dungeons and Dragons in one of our episodes. There was like a couple of episodes we discussed a lot of Dota stuff as well. So I want to keep this as wide as possible. So whoever's listening, if you are interested in putting your views, or if you think we said something wrong and you hate this about this game, I hate Brawlhalla or whatever, write to me. Drop me a DM on playstyle.podcast on Instagram, and we will figure out when we talk. Yes, thank you so much, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for being here. Listen to my podcast wherever you get your podcast, and also wherever you listen to Vimo Live and Vimo Talks and Vimo Plays and
There is no
everything.
Vimo Talks. Vimo Talks was the old name of the podcast. Now it's
Oh
just Vimo
yes,
Live.
sorry. Yes, so only
पता
Vimo
चला
Live
लोग
now.
किसी और सुन रहे जाके.
Yeah, only listen to Vimo Live and then listen to Playstyle.
Yes,
cool.
those are the two things you should do.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.